This is We're Gonna Make You Watch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of We're Gonna Make You Watch. I am Brian. With me as always are my good friends Isaiah and Warren, and we just introduced Warren to a fantastic little zombie film called The Return of the Living Dead. And before we get too far into that, how have you guys been doing?
Pretty good. It's almost WrestleMania, so I'm starting to ramp up, getting excited for that. At least this is when we're recording it. Been staying pretty busy just with work and whatnot, but also trying to rewatch a lot of old WrestleManias because that's kind of my ritual before a new WrestleMania is I'll start watching some of my favorites, you know.
Yeah.
17 is one I'll watch, 3 is one I'll watch, and then, you know, whatever other ones I decide to watch at that point, I'll throw in there. So I've been doing a lot of that, playing a lot of Helldivers lately.
Yeah, we have. It's spreading the cheeks of democracy.
So that's been fun. I'm glad people talked me into getting to that game because
I'm glad you got it, man. I'm glad you got it.
A little apprehensive at first about getting it because I'm like, do I really need another fucking game to play?
Yes. When that game is that game, yes, you need another game.
It's true. It's very true, and it's been a lot of fun. But besides that, I've also been playing RoboCop lately.
Yes, that's fun too. Yeah.
Which has been a lot of fun playing too. So just a little bit of gaming and working, and then getting ready for WrestleMania. So that's been kind of my last few weeks, in essence.
Right. Yeah, it's been a good few weeks for you. Warren, what have you been up to, man?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, you have the Liberator pistol.
Been liberating with my pistol trader. But yeah, no, I've been just kind of doing that, hanging out. Yeah, not a whole lot going on. Just trying to stay caught up with all this wrestling stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as we're recording, Raw is on right now, so I'll probably watch that after we're done.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping track of results as we've been going here. So
nice.
I guess they announced the lineups for each night of WrestleMania, so that's good
nice.
that they finally got that kind of laid out.
Yeah, because with Mania being this weekend, obviously the weekend that we're recording this, Mania's already happened by now, guys. But I think we're coming to your place, aren't we, Warren? Me and everybody, we're coming over to your place.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah, Isaiah, you come on down, and what is it? A 6-hour drive?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, come on down. You can stay with me and watch Mania with me and Warren, all of our gang. But yeah, so we usually do what we typically do, like the Royal Rumble, Mania, and SummerSlam. Is there another one that we kind of do?
It just
as far
depends.
as WWE goes, anyway.
It just depends. We usually do Money in the Bank.
Oh, that's right. I couldn't. Money in the Bank also. Yeah, those are like the big four that we usually do. We usually get together. I think we got together for Survivor Series last time though, too, didn't we?
Yeah, because it was War Games.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we did.
I mean, War Games has been the one thing that's gotten me excited for Survivor Series the last couple of years. So
yeah, it's made it interesting. It's made it different. I like it. So, well. Yeah, we so Mania's coming up. What have I got going on? Well, I bought a house. I might sound like I'm talking in a submarine because I am. I bought a metal tube, and I live just below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean now. And the reception is shit, but the dining is fucking exquisite. So I get all the seafood I want. I open my door and just reach out and grab one. Come here, motherfucker. But no, yeah, I got nothing in this house. This is gonna be my second night in the house, and I need to get some shit in here.
Yeah, once you start getting stuff set up, that'll start muffling some of that and taking away some echo. So
Yeah, I'm going for. I may not have my desk the way that I've got it right now. I'm probably going to change it, but I am going to have some horror shit set up. Hopefully by next episode. It's not going to be quite as spectacular as your setup is that you got going on over there, but it's going to be a little more interesting. So that's all I got going on. I bought a house and I'm poor now. So
Woo!
fun,
Living the
good time.
American dream.
Yes. Now let's get into this sexy ass movie that we just showed, Warren. The Return of the Living Dead, written and directed by Dan O'Bannon. He also wrote Alien and some other really kick-ass stuff. This is probably my favorite zombie movie of all time. Isaiah, where do you sit on this? Is this quite, I mean, you said during the recording that this is quite up there. Is this not your?
It's up there. I'm definitely a diehard Romero fan, so
Fair.
Night, Dawn, and Day are going to be my top 3, and then probably right after that, it's going to be this one.
Very fair. Those, and yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. Warren, what were your initial thoughts on the Return of the Living Dead, bud?
It took a little while to kind of get where we were going, but once we got there, it was quite the experience.
Yeah.
Along the way, it didn't get as it wasn't as complicated as I thought they were going to try to make it, because I feel like zombie movies are typically like, what are we going to do? Oh, how do we forget? And it was just kind of like people were getting eaten, and that was the movie. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Really just kind of like one location. There wasn't a bunch of running around. I expect a lot of chase situations in zombie movies where people are constantly like moving, trying to get away, so they're not necessarily staying in one spot very often. But it seems that this movie was like, hey, we're just gonna make it around this cemetery situation, and then these people just try to survive, which according to what happened, I don't think any of them did.
Probably not.
Probably a good assessment.
Yeah, unless one of them was in a refrigerator, because apparently
old school ones, yeah, they can survive anything.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. This is So did you like it? Would you say you liked it?
It was cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm very like. It was more tamed than I thought it was going to be.
Right. I tried to preface it when we started by letting you know that it is very much a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Probably more comedy than horror. And the cast of this movie is fucking hilarious. Like, I mean, you get James Karen, Clu Gulager, Don Calfa, and Tom Matthews are basically your top 4 players in this movie, and Tom Matthews and James Karen are fucking hilarious with each other.
They're such a great combination to work together. They just play off each other so well.
Yes, they really are. They're horror comedy gold as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And then you put Don Calfa in a movie also, who I love. He's super funny, and Clu Gulager is just Clu Gulager had a long career.
Yes, he did.
Like, he had a very long career. He did this shit for forever, and he only recently passed away in 2022. So,
and like, I mean, he was basically working up until almost he died. You know.
Yeah, he was like, what, 94 years old when he passed away. Something like that. He was gonna turn 94 that year. Yeah, he passed away at 93, and he worked until he was like 93.
Yeah,
like, he worked for a long time. But yeah, so it was such a fun cast, man. And I mentioned it a few times. The fucking soundtrack for this movie is so fucking rad. It's just a bunch of kick-ass, like, fucking punk and rockabilly shit, and so fucking good. I have this on vinyl, and I spin it quite regularly. Isaiah, what was your? Do you remember your first experience with this movie?
Oh God. I was definitely in high school. Because the first zombie movie I ever saw was Dawn of the Dead, the original, the 78 one. And I started getting more and more into zombie movies because that's right after Nightmare on Elm Street. Dawn of the Dead is my second favorite horror movie, and it's the one movie that really got me into wanting to make movies and kind of expanded my love of horror movies. So I was definitely looking for more zombie themed movies at the time. So obviously off of Dawn of the Dead, I realized, oh hey, there's Night of the Living Dead, so the original George Romero zombie movie. And then I got into Day of the Dead, and then I ended up finding Return of the Living Dead, which I didn't really know anything about at the time. Saw it in high school, instantly fell in love with it. I love the whole horror comedy aspect of it. It's not as serious as the Romero zombie movies. It's different. It's not just slow shambling, basically mindless zombies. These ones have a little bit of intelligence, which is a little different. So
yeah, Warren mentioned that quite a few times.
Mm-hmm. And so that whole aspect of it, and just how the cast worked together on this. The writing was fantastic with this. The dialogue, I mean, everything about it was just so well done. And it's not an overly long movie either. It moves at a good pace, and it doesn't seem like it's that long. By the time the credits roll, it's like, oh shit, that was it. It feels like it could have been longer, but I think it's also the perfect length too, because it's like a quick watch because of how quickly the movie moves. So yeah, definitely high school was the first time I had witnessed it. And, then I found the sequels. I do love 2 and 3. I don't talk about 4 and 5 because those movies don't exist in my
I've actually never seen 4 and 5.
Yeah,
I've seen 2 and 3. I own part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I like part 3 for different reasons. I think most reasons. Most people like part 3 because that girl's sexy.
Linda Clark.
I can't wait to show Warren that one. Yeah, that's a cool movie for different reasons though. This is a critical darling too. Like, this movie's got like a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, man.
Yeah.
So we're not alone in expressing our appreciation for the film, because it's very respected and deservedly so, because it's a fucking cool movie. Dan O'Bannon really had he had a vision, and he executed it flawlessly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This movie is just perfection for tapping into it tapped into the punk scene, which was really, really, really strong in the mid 80s. And it attracted to those, the people of that like culture, and it embraced it in a way that a lot of movies just kind of didn't really associate themselves with. So
right.
I love the punk element in this movie. It's so fucking good. And like I already mentioned the soundtrack. Let's start kind of going through it, and then we'll get Warren's favorite deaths. He's like, why do you always ask me what my favorite death scene is? All right, so we start off this movie with the 2 greatest fucking knuckleheads to ever grace the silver screen in Freddy and fucking Frank. Freddie and Frank, and played by Tom Matthews and James Karen. And these 2 are ones we already mentioned that they're great together. They're really, really good. So good that they bring them back for a sequel. So Frank and Freddie, Frank is training Freddie. Freddie's kind of a punker. He's got his group of friends that we see them also. They're getting ready to meet him for when he gets off work. Frank is training Freddie at this medical supply warehouse called Unida Medical Supply. And he tells them these horror stories about these canisters of bodies that had like exposed to like gases or whatever, and he shows them to him. And then he says, "Oh, these things will never open," and he smacks the side of it, and it promptly pops open, and fills the room with this gas called trioxin, knocks him out, and they wake up. We get to see a really cool sequence where the body on the inside of the canister is getting all liquefied and shit, and that goes on to create the most iconic zombie ever placed on film, Tarman. But yeah, we get they wake up and they're hurting. They're all fucked up, and they're acting so great. They're just a complete fucking mess and disarray. But they go to call Bert, the owner of the medical supply. I love this scene, man. He goes and he calls the number and he sets the phone down, and then he composes himself.
Fucking James Cairn.
He's like, okay, Bert. It's so fucking funny, dude. And it reminds me of, and I'd love to have Matthew Lillard on the podcast, because I want to ask him if that was the inspiration for his sequence in Scream. Because when he gets on the phone at the end of Scream, he does the same thing. Like he sits up and he crosses his legs. He's like all bleeding and shit. And he crosses his legs because he's like, I still have dignity. I still have pride. He gets on the phone. He's like, hello. I wonder if he thought of that when he did that. I don't know. So, but we kind of play back and forth between what's going on with Frank and Freddy and what's going on with Freddy's group of friends, all the punk misfits. With a Linnea Quigley thrown in there. What's his name that plays Spider? Or not Spider. Miguel Nunez Jr. plays Spider, but that's not actually who I was talking about. Mark Venturini plays Suicide in that. And both of those silly cats, Miguel Nunez and Mark Venturini, both play in Friday the 13th Part 5 also. So we got some Friday connections going on here. I love it. And then, like I said, Linnea Quigley, Scream Queen, total horror icon. She plays Trash in this, and not saying that she plays Trash. Her character's name's Trash. but yeah. So they get they're goofing off in the fucking cemetery. Frank, and Freddy encounter a reanimated cadaver. And the process of them trying to put that thing down is quite humorous because it just doesn't die. And they smack him in the back of the head with the fucking pickaxe, and it's just still screaming and shit,
kicking its legs.
It's so fucking hilarious, man. What was going through your mind when this was happening, Warren?
It was, I don't know, the typical experience, I guess, like the start of something that was going to get substantially worse. It's one of those situations where when you think you have it bad, you try to fix it and you make it worse, and you're like, man, I really should have just left that alone, and I think it would have worked out for me. Yeah, and instead they tried to fix it and they made it work. It's almost like the That's So Raven show, if you've ever seen that. Every time she has a vision, she tries to stop the vision from happening because something bad happens in the vision, but because she tries to stop it, she makes it happen. So then it ends up becoming a bad situation anyway, because of something she tries to do to stop it. And that's kind of like what happened here. They tried to keep something from getting worse because they could see down the road how this could be bad for them. And then they
could equate that to The Flash also.
Yeah, well, that's
the movie, The Flash,
Yeah. We're going to talk about horror films.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I actually like that.
It was actually pretty good.
I like that movie.
Yeah, I like The Flash. I thought it was good.
We don't give DC credit. We don't do that.
Well, it's we can because you don't have to do it a lot.
They gave us back Keaton Batman.
They
For
did
the
give
love
us
of
Keaton
God.
Batman again.
No, it was actually a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, that was
But
pretty solid.
Anyways,
but so was this one. This one was also
Yes,
pretty solid.
agreed.
A lot of the kills were very quick,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I appreciated that we didn't harp a lot on them eating people. It was like, hey, he's being eaten, and now cut back to the people who are trying to figure out how not to be eaten.
Yeah, because you have a thing about gore.
Yeah, I do. I'm not a fan of it. The interesting thing to me about this movie was, and we touched on it earlier, which was the psychology of the zombies and the
Mhm.
idea that they are still basically people, they're just dead. And so the reason why they eat brains is because it takes away the pain of being dead. And I was like, cool, we gave them reasoning, we gave them logic. And so
Yeah.
in a way, it was humanizing something that isn't human at all anymore, because you're like, well, if you were in constant pain, you would want that to stop. And if that
Mhm.
was the one way to stop it, you would do anything at that point to get rid of it, right? So it made it one of those things where like I didn't feel sorry for them when they got nuked to hell, but at the same time, it made me understand why what was happening, and I thought that was a pretty interesting take. I didn't think it was fair at all. I thought that was really ridiculous.
You did. You said this is
And,
not fair. They're
Yeah,
cheating.
this is not fair. Somebody put in some cheat codes, and
Yeah.
they were winning. They were
They
definitely winning.
were.
They were setting up traps for cops, and
They were ordering takeout, bro.
Man.
Every time they got on there, send more paramedics.
Yeah, like I'm like
That shit was funny.
nobody thought that was
Okay.
weird that Harold sound like that now, because he
No.
didn't sound like that 2 seconds ago. Like, what are we doing here?
They just, I know that is funny. They get that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Hey.
Send them
Send
in.
more, send them in. Send more officers. Okay. So,
You got it.
that shit was good, man. Yeah, and I love it when the two paramedics show up and it shows them walk up to and then all of a sudden a mob of fucking zombies come out. It was a solid tackle on
Yeah,
one that was running
that
away.
fucker got took out.
Dude, he got lit
Yeah.
the fuck
Got
up.
wasted.
So, yeah, we could keep going through the movie a little bit. There's obviously we kind of mentioned it flows pretty easy, and there's not much else that goes on. Bit by bit, Freddie and Frank start to die, or they're dead already. So they start to like rigor mortis starts setting in and shit like that. And they start to become a little more nihilistic, I guess, particularly Freddie. Frank sees his future and he's just like, yeah, fuck that. So he actually throws himself in the fucking incinerator and burns himself alive. But Freddie, on the other hand, starts chasing after his girlfriend, saying that he can smell her brains, which is, I don't know, it's kind of sexy in a way. What's her name? Tina, I think, is Beverly Randolph. Oh, she really didn't do a whole lot more. She doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. You know that?
Oh.
So, yeah. But yeah, they bit by bit, all these people start getting kind of knocked off, and Miguel Nunez Jr. is the only smart fucking one out of all of them, it seems.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Warren kind of seen it coming. He kind of caught on pretty quick that he said, well, pretty much the only thing they can do is just nuke this whole fucking area. So that's what they did. That's basically how the movie ends.
Yeah.
And it was a good time, though.
It's a lose-lose, though. That's the thing that's
Little
stupid
bit.
about it, because you
win if
If
you
you-
ain't in that 20 block radius.
yeah, for the day,
Oh, yeah, that's true, because it is raining still.
it's still raining, and so that acid stuff is still happening. So you just created more. You just enhanced their army. You created reinforcements.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you would have had to do some type of napalm situation first. It just
Mhm.
burned what you could burn,
Mhm.
and then go from there and see what if it's still contained or not. but I understand the sense of urgency to just blow it up.
Right.
But that's a tough call though. Like that guy that's my favorite kill is the blowing up the place because of the guy that got to do it. That's my
Yeah,
because
he was excited.
he
like,
was ready,
Hell
baby.
yeah, give me the codes.
He was ready.
He been
Make sure I
training his
got it
whole life for this one.
Boy, he was like, I'll make sure I got it right. Hot dog, niner. Yep. Okay. Been waiting on bleep, bleep, bleep. And he let it fly, man. He didn't no hesitation. He had
Living for that
hesitation.
fucking moment.
He didn't ask like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Like nothing. He was just like, "Yes,
No
sir.
hesitation.
Yes. Got the code right here. Yep. Yeah. It's already in the air, sir. Already in the air.
Done,
Like-
done, and done.
I was saying, don't do that. What are you doing? No. But yeah, so that
I'm
was
sorry. The call you. The person you're
I'm
trying to
sorry.
reach is unavailable.
missile launched. Missile launched. Missile launched.
So we talked about him a little bit, but let's talk about fucking Tarman. Okay, he is the fucking coolest looking zombie ever to zombie in the history of cinema, man. He looks so fucking rad, and I have a Tarman T-shirt. I think everybody should have one. I'm gonna buy you one, Warren. And I just love what they did with Tarman in this movie. What do you think of him, Isaiah?
Oh god, he is definitely the most iconic looking zombie. He might not be my favorite zombie, but he is definitely the coolest looking zombie I've ever seen.
Yeah, fuck yeah. What do you think of when you saw Tarman, Warren?
It was different. He looked almost like he was the leader of the group.
Kind of the first one in a way, you know. So yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean he was definitely
I love it. I love
interesting
how
character.
and the guy
out the gate.
that did the walk, you know, that moved as him and shit. Fucking cool. Good, just good visual acting. I think that was played by Alan Troutman.
Yep.
Did the work as Tarman. I guess he's a puppeteer, you know. So yeah. All right. Well, we've talked about Return of the Living Dead for a little while now. I think we're probably at a good spot that we can slide out of here. Warren, overall, you said you liked it. You thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a pretty good movie.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
I love this movie. I'm glad you liked it.
The
Well,
soundtrack's incredible. I will
Yes.
be
fuck
saying
yes, it is.
and adding it
Yes.
to my playlist.
Yeah, it's so good. I spin that quite regularly. It was one of the first records I spun when I moved into the new house. So I do. I spin that quite regularly. All right. Well, we Isaiah and I have discussed your next movie. Do you want
Yes,
to
we did.
introduce? Do you want to introduce this?
You know,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
not a huge fan of how I don't get to be a part of any of these discussions.
Well, where would
You
the
know,
fun in that
as-
be?
I don't know how many episodes we're in, but the fact that you're finally saying I don't like that, and you're just now picking up on the fact that we're not gonna let you choose. It's
I
why
know
it's
you're not
called
gonna let me, but I just felt
we're
like
gonna make you watch.
I just think that it was only right that at some point I just had some dignity and stand up for myself.
Well, maybe what we'll do in the future is we'll have maybe there's a movie that Isaiah and I haven't seen, and you can flip the script on
Yeah.
us so you can make us watch something. We can
An
do that.
idea.
That could be like a bonus Patreon thing if we ever start a Patreon or
Right?
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made Warren made Brian and Isaiah watch 101
Pokemon
Dalmatians.
2003.
Love it.
All right, so back to
All right.
Isaiah.
So I know that you say you know,
No.
you like the whole gore
No.
thing.
No.
So,
no.
With that
no.
being said, our next episode, we're gonna take you back to Elm Street, to the man of your dreams, and have you watch A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Yeah.
All right.
Also known as the gayest horror movie ever made.
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
You'll understand when you
You'll
see
understand
it.
when you watch it.
You'll
Trust
understand.
me.
There's literally a documentary about it.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was oh gosh, my memory is as fantastic as I can't even remember. So it's directed by, well, it starts Mark Patton
Mark
plays
Patton.
in it.
Yep.
And his documentary that they did called Scream Queen is fantastic. It's on Shudder.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was a really, really good watch. But this was directed by Jack Shoulder, yeah. And because I believe he directed
Alone in the Dark, I believe.
yeah. And he also did.
He did another one, but I can't remember what it was.
He did The Hidden, I want to say, which is
Probably.
actually a cool movie. He actually did a good job on that. But he directed like Wishmaster too as well.
Yeah.
Too. But yeah, I believe he directed The Hidden, which is actually that's a pretty fucking cool movie. Let's see here, director. Yeah, it's not going that far. Oh, blah 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 blah. Yes, he did The Hidden. I don't know if you've ever seen. You ever seen The Hidden, Isaiah?
I don't think I have.
It's got Kyle MacLachlan in it, and it's like it's Jason Goes to Hell before Jason went to hell.
Oh. Well, I
You know,
hated that
body
movie, so-
possession, alien body possession kind of thing, jumping from person to person and shit. And it's you should watch it. You should watch it. I feel like
I feel like I would probably like that better than Jason Goes to Hell, because Jason Goes to Hell is probably my most hated movie. So
oh, that's very fair. Yeah, it's there's I know quite a few people that despise that movie pretty aggressively. But yeah. Oh, all right. Well, you're gonna enjoy it, Warren. Though you're gonna like Nightmare on Elm Street too. It's fantastic. So, anything you guys want to add before we slide out of here?
oh, as always, just make sure to check out the TikToks and the YouTube for the full podcast episodes, plus the reaction videos to go along with this, as always. So be sure to check all that shit out.
All right. Anything you want to add? Check all that shit out. I don't sit at my computer for fucking hours editing this for nothing.
God damn it.
Warren, anything you want to add, buddy?
No, I think I'm good.
I quit. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and listening. And with that being said, we will catch you on the next episode.